The 7th century Mecca, the birthplace of the Prophet Muhammad, is nestled right where the legendary Kaaba stands tall. But did you know the Kaaba's roots trace back to Adam and Abraham? Well, there's more. Everything begins with a mystical invitation to Adam, offering him the chance to partake in immortality and eternal possession. Fast forward to the 7th century AD, where the bustling city of Mecca sets the stage for the birth of Prophet Muhammad. Unfortunately, Muhammad's father Abdullah passed away before his birth, leaving him under the care of his esteemed grandfather Abdul Muttalib, who held the keys to the sacred Kaaba, a revered structure believed to be the first house of worship built by Prophet Adam. The Kaaba's history takes a dramatic turn during the era of Prophet Noah, when a cataclysmic flood temporarily obscures it from sight, only to be rediscovered by Prophet Abraham, who, guided by divine command, rebuilds it alongside his son Ismail. Despite these efforts, over time, the true teachings of Abraham fade into obscurity, and idolatry takes root in Mecca, overshadowing the sanctity of the Kaaba. As centuries pass, a succession of prophets, including Joseph, Moses, and Jesus, emerge in various lands, tasked with conveying divine messages to their communities. Jesus, in particular, faces opposition from religious leaders and Roman authorities, culminating in his arrest and crucifixion. However, according to divine intervention, Jesus is spared from death, with another individual crucified in his place, setting the stage for his prophesied return. Meanwhile, Muhammad, the final prophet, traces his lineage back to Adam through the line of Prophet Abraham, embodying the culmination of prophetic tradition. His birth in Mecca is accompanied by supernatural phenomena, reverberating across distant lands as a harbinger of transformative change. As Muhammad's presence stirs anticipation among the Jewish community, their quest to identify the awaited Redeemer proves fruitless, as the chosen one emerges from an unexpected Arab lineage. Now, Muhammad, the final prophet, emerges from a lineage tracing back to the sons of Ishmael, a descendant of Prophet Abraham, whose legacy stretches back to the beginnings of humanity. Prophet Adam, considered the first human and the first prophet of God, set the stage for the prophetic tradition. His descendants, including Prophet Seth and Prophet Enoch, continue to convey divine messages to humanity, culminating in the era of Prophet Noah, renowned for his construction of the ark. From the lineage of Prophet Noah's son Shem, significant civilizations, including the Semitic races, emerge, paving the way for the advent of Prophet Abraham. Abraham, revered as a patriarch in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, is the common ancestor of many prophets, including his sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Prophets such as Moses and Jesus trace their ancestry back to Prophet Isaac, while Prophet Muhammad, born in Mecca 600 years after Jesus, descends from Prophet Ishmael. Despite their divergent lineages, both Muhammad and Jesus share a common great-grandfather in Prophet Abraham, bridging theological and genealogical connections between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Muhammad's upbringing is marked by divine intervention and human compassion. As an orphan, he finds solace under the care of his nurse Halima Saadia, whose life is transformed by his presence. Subsequently, Muhammad is raised by his uncle Abu Talib, who nurtures him with love and protection, shaping him into the prophet destined to change the course of history. Even in his youth, Muhammad exhibits signs of his prophetic destiny. During a journey to Syria, he attracts the attention of a monk named Bahira, who recognizes in him the characteristics foretold in ancient scriptures. Similarly, the story of Prophet Moses, born during the oppressive reign of Pharaoh, highlights the role of divine providence in safeguarding the future leader of the Israelites. Moses' upbringing in the palace of Pharaoh's wife contrasts with Muhammad's humble beginnings, yet the Almighty God chooses both to deliver their respective communities from tyranny and oppression. The confrontation between Prophet Moses and Pharaoh is depicted in sacred texts and illustrates a battle of wills between divine truth and human arrogance. Despite displaying numerous miracles and signs, Pharaoh remains obstinate, refusing to acknowledge the authority of God and release the Israelites from bondage. In response to Pharaoh's defiance, the power of God intervenes with a series of plagues that afflict Egypt, each more severe than the last. The waters of the Nile turn to blood, rendering them undrinkable and leading to the death of aquatic life. Frogs infest the land, followed by lice, hailstorms, locusts, and darkness, symbolizing the relentless force of divine justice. Ultimately, Pharaoh relents and permits the Israelites to leave, but his heart hardens once more, leading to a dramatic pursuit culminating in the parting of the Red Sea. As the Israelites cross to safety, the sea miraculously closes upon Pharaoh's army, symbolizing the triumph of faith over oppression. Following their deliverance, the Israelites find refuge at Mount Sinai, where Prophet Moses receives the commandments of God. These laws, intended to govern behavior and establish moral and just principles, lay the groundwork for a righteous society. In a prophetic announcement, God informs Moses of the forthcoming last prophet, who will emerge from among the brothers of the Israelites. This prophecy refers to Prophet Muhammad, a descendant of Ishmael, the brother of Isaac, patriarch of the Jewish people. At the age of 40, Muhammad receives his first revelation in the cave of Hira, marking the onset of his prophetic journey. Surrounded by divine presence, he is tasked with warning humanity and proclaiming the message of divine unity as Prophet Muhammad faced opposition from Mecca's idolaters, who resisted the call to abandon their pagan practices and embrace monotheism. The commandments revealed to Muhammad challenged the existing social order, advocating for the abolition of slavery, the protection of women's rights, and equality for all. Now, the idolaters of Mecca, driven by greed and resistance to change, fiercely opposed Prophet Muhammad's message of monotheism. They clung to their lucrative idol worship, exploiting pilgrimages for income, and resisted abolishing slavery and granting equal rights. As Islam gained followers, tensions escalated, leading to hostility and even resorting to magic against the believers. Despite persecution, the Prophet found solace in divine guidance, seeking refuge solely in God. Even amidst the chaos, the Prophet's determination remained unwavering, and the eloquence of his recitations captivated hearts, drawing people to Islam. The idolaters demanded a miracle, challenging the Prophet to split the moon. In a breathtaking display of divine power, the moon fractured before their eyes, yet their hearts remained hardened. Another miracle followed when a sealed decree against Muslims disintegrated, leaving only the name of Allah intact, affirming divine favor upon the believers. The ascension marked a pivotal moment in Prophet Muhammad's spiritual journey, transcending the boundaries of earthly existence. Archangel Gabriel, appearing in his true form, parted ways with the Prophet, unable to accompany him further. As the Prophet delved deeper into the mystical realms, he encountered the eternal presence of God beyond the constraints of time and space. In the divine presence, the Prophet experienced a reality beyond human comprehension, where time held no sway and existence itself was pure truth. Although the exact nature of the Prophet's interaction with God remains a mystery, his encounter affirmed the transcendence of Allah beyond the confines of our physical world. Allah, described as transcendent and independent of space and time, defies human understanding. His existence extends beyond all dimensions, beyond the laws of physics and nature. He is the origin of everything, omnipresent across all periods of time simultaneously. The Prophet's migration to Medina marked a turning point where believers found refuge from persecution. Despite challenges, the community thrived, united by their belief in Allah and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. Revelations continued to guide them, unfolding at opportune moments, demonstrating the timelessness and perfection of God's words. Confronted by hostility from the idolaters of Mecca, the Muslim community faced escalating threats. Eventually, they were granted permission to defend themselves, leading to the Battle of Badr. Though outnumbered, the Muslims remained steadfast, trusting in Allah's promise of victory. The Battle of Badr was a big win for the Muslims, thanks to their smart planning and help from God. The bad guys ran away because they were surprised by how strong and clever the Muslims were. After that, there were more fights against the bad people who were causing trouble. God said it was okay to fight back against those who were hurting the Muslims, but only if they didn't stop being mean. The rules for fighting were clear. Don't hurt innocent people, protect nature, and respect places of worship. The Prophet Muhammad was very fair and kind, even in battles. Sometimes amazing things happened during battles that showed God was helping the Muslims. When Mecca was conquered, it showed that good had won over evil, and the Prophet Muhammad made sure everyone knew that the bad times were over. The Prophet Muhammad and the Quran brought together all the important lessons from earlier religions. They showed people how to be good and fair. Islam became the final and best way to live, and when the Prophet Muhammad passed away, it was like closing a big chapter in history. But his teaching stayed with us forever. May the spirit of Prophet Muhammad's message continue to illuminate our path, guiding us toward a future filled with compassion, respect, and love for one another.